Broadcom just reported their latest quarterly figures, beats across the board, good guidance, very good commentary as well. And so the stock after hours was actually up 16%. Now at the time of making this video, we're up around 11% or so, which means that the stock is back to $200. Now, previously, during the day, stock was down 6.3%. Of course, the overall market was down. But this also meant that we've seen a drawdown. By the way, this is on FinChat, which is now a sponsor of the channel. More on that in just a second. The drawdown here from the recent peak was closer to 28% or so. Now, with the stock price being closer to $200, we're down around 19% or so from the recent peak. So we definitely have been having quite a pullback, especially across the semiconductor industry. And maybe not just the semiconductor industry. Let's be honest. I know we're not in a bear market. I think far from it. There's definitely a little intro to a correction, but there are definitely a lot of stocks that have entered that correction area for the last couple of days. Plenty of stocks that are down 20, 30, sometimes even 40% since, well, the last couple of weeks, last couple of months. Now, touching back on Broadcom specifically, they'll have a market cap of, well, before they reported was $900 billion. So now with the after hours action would be closer back to the $1 trillion mark. Now, of course, this is not the cheapest stock out there, but this is definitely one of the highest quality names in the semiconductor industry. Yesterday we had Marvell, which is one of their competitors. They reported beats across the board, beats for guidance as well, but since the stock ran up already so much, even if the stock is down 40% since the recent highs, the market was expecting a beat and a raise. Not just a tiny beat, that was not enough, and so Marvell got hit quite hard. Broadcom, different story. Although with Broadcom, like I said, drawdown of 28% going into this report, and then here we have beats across the board and very good commentary on the guidance, and that is what is pushing this stock a little bit higher. So let's discuss that. If you enjoy this type of videos, hit all the buttons, would really appreciate that. I appreciate all of the support you've been giving me, well, in the last couple of weeks and months, and for those that have been with me for many years, well, of course, I love you guys even more. Now, touching back on Broadcom. First of all, as you know, I've been using FinChat for quite a while, and well before they started sponsoring some of my videos. I'm very happy that they became a sponsor of the channel. Now, what's impressive with them is that, first of all, one, as you can see, you can already look at the most recent transcript. Okay, the earnings call was done 20 minutes before I started recording this video. The transcript is already live. Second of all, if we look here at segments and KPIs, you can see that for revenue, the most recent segments, which are semiconductor solutions and revenue, are already uploaded, which is very good if you want to see exactly what has happened during the last couple of quarters and the last couple of years. I mean, this was released, barely half an hour to an hour after the earnings report came out. So during earnings season, of course, this makes my life and many investors' life way better. As you can see, last quarter they generated $14.91 billion, and you've got the two segments here, $8.21 billion in semiconductor solutions and infrastructure software revenue that came in at $6.7 billion. Now, if you don't know what FinChat is, well, it's basically this. It's a stock research platform that has complete financial data on all stocks globally. And the best part is they're the only platform that tracks company-specific data points, as I've just shown you. And so, if you want to support me even further, you can try it out. All users will automatically get 2 weeks of FinChat Pro for free when they sign up. But if you really like it and you're looking to upgrade, you can use my link down in the description and in the pinned comment to get 15% off. Now, as I've said at the start of this video, this was a very clean quarter. As you can see, beats across the board, 2 small misses. Miss for free cash flow of 11.6%. And then for guidance, a small miss here, EBITDA margin 65 basis points. That's not much, let's be honest. Revenue for next quarter beat by 2.1%. That's expected to be $14.9 billion. So yeah, not much growth quarter over quarter, but year over year, that's still up 19.3%. They'd also expect software revenue of $6.5 billion. That's up 23% year over year. Now, the quarter itself, again, like I said, very good quarter. Gross margin 79.1%. a bit of 124 basis points. Operating margin 66%, a bit of 193 basis points. So yeah, can't complain. They said also the following. Q1 AI revenue grew 77% year over year to $4.1 billion, and infrastructure software revenue grew 47% year over year to $6.7 billion. We expect continued strength in AI semiconductor revenue of $4.4 billion in Q2 as hyperscale partners continue to invest in AI XPUs and connectivity solutions for AI data centers. Now, by the way, for those that don't know, this huge jump right here, infrastructure software, is of course because of a huge acquisition that they made, an acquisition of VMware. Broadcom is probably one of the only companies that have made plenty of acquisitions and has actually made it work. Very, very impressive. Hock Tan is probably one of the better CEOs out there. Now we know that Broadcom is working with hyperscalers and super big tech companies such as Google, Meta, ByteDance, Microsoft, and well, Amazon, AWS is working with them as well, but not in the same way as the other three, which they've announced, of course, last year. They've shown us this slide, customer 1, customer 2, and then, well, this was from last year. There was a customer 3. As you can see, XPU's multi-generational strategic engagements. 2 of them were already in production in 2024, with the third one ramped to production, but doesn't end here. Last quarter, they announced, well, 2 quarters ago now, they announced another 2. Now, during the earnings call, they announced an extra 2, so 7 in total. And by the way, just looking at the networking side of things, Ultra Ethernet in this case, look at the names that they're working with. And Tesla Dojo is also included, by the way. So AMD, Arista, Intel, Oracle, Microsoft, Meta, Cisco. So plenty of the big companies here. And that's the important thing, right? They said they're talking with 4 new hyperscalers in total who are not currently included in their 2027 projections to develop custom silicon. Why is that important? Well, it's important because if you look at the number that they gave us, the serviceable addressable market between $60 to $90 billion in fiscal year 2027, that's only for the 3 hyperscalers, the 3 original ones. So not for the whole 7, which again is very, very bullish for a company like Broadcom. They said the following. Beyond these 3 customers, we had also mentioned previously that we are deeply engaged with 2 other hyperscalers in enabling them to create their own customized AI accelerators. We are on track to tape out their XPUs this year. In the process of working with the hyperscalers, it has become very clear that while they are excellent in software, Broadcom is the best in hardware. Working together is what optimizes the large language models. It is therefore no surprise to us, since our last earnings call, that 2 additional hyperscalers have selected Broadcom to develop custom accelerators to train their next generation frontier models. Now, why is this important? I believe my thumbnail will be something like a warning to Nvidia or something like that. Why is that important? Well, because first of all, if we go to Colette, which is Nvidia's CFO's conversation, I believe a day or so ago, plus the comments that Jensen made during the last earnings call, talking about custom silicon, she said the following, Colette, the CFO. Almost all, if not every one of our customers is still on Nvidia, even though they may think that they may go down a custom, well, basically she wants to say the transcripts are always quite tricky because the audio, as you know, the audio is not always great. So they're all still using Nvidia, even though they are mostly also working on custom silicon. It's very difficult because what they do in terms of building the compute, they're the best performance one. So basically the best TCO is the best total cost of ownership. Nvidia thinks they're still the best out there, total cost of ownership. And so Jensen, this was Colette, Jensen during the earnings call, he said the following: just because you are designing one does not mean that you are going to, well, deploy it at scale. And that was taking a shot at the likes of Broadcom and Marvell. But if we go to what Hock Tan said during the earnings call, was basically asked about, well, design wins. What does that mean? Well, he said the following: design wins is probably very different from the way many of our peers look at it out there. Number one, to begin with, we believe design wins when we know our product is produced in scale at scale and is actually deployed, literally deployed in production. So here it's already contradicting what Nvidia CEO has said. So that takes a long lead time because from taping out, getting the product, it takes a year easily from the product in the hands of our partners to when it goes into scale production. It will take 6 months to a year in our experience that we've seen. It's number one. Number two, producing and deploying 5,000 XPUs, that's a joke. That's not production in our view. Basically said here at the end, to put it bluntly, we don't do it for startups, meaning they will only do it for huge players with big and long roadmaps that would make it worth their while. So he said here, we also limit ourselves in selecting partners to people who really need that large volume, which is probably why they're only working with the biggest out there, the hyperscalers. You need that large volume from our viewpoint in scale right now, and that's mostly training. Was also asked about training and inference. Here again focuses on training large language models, frontier models in a continuing trajectory. So we limit ourselves to how many customers or how many potential customers that exist out there. We tend to be very selective who we pick to begin with. So when we say design win, it really is at scale. So here he's basically canceling out what Jensen has said, because here he's saying, look, design wins for us is not a design and then it never reaches ramp production or never gets released. No, if we're saying design wins, this means this is going to be a real product that will get deployed at scale. And of course, as you know, where does the majority of the money come from? Well, the majority of the investment, shall I say, comes from the hyperscalers, the big tech players. So if the big tech players continue to be successful in the future by having custom silicon, yeah, maybe that might cause some issues, let's say, for Nvidia, or should I say Nvidia's dominance, Nvidia's market share. But I think that today we're still far away from that reality, but that's definitely Hock Tan sending a little warning shot, I would say. Currently, if we look at the stock, now with the after hours action, we can see a nice rebound from that. Well, it did go under the 200-day moving average. And so from a technical standpoint, this definitely does seem quite bullish. Now, all in all, again, Broadcom, Hock Tan, incredible company, no doubt about that. Are they going to be a threat to Nvidia? Well, if they continue like this, I think they are one of the best companies that could actually pose a threat to Nvidia's dominance. I'm just putting that prediction out there. I'm going to talk a little bit more during Tuesday's live stream. Yes, you'll have to wait until Tuesday until I get back with Jose and we talk about that. But yeah, if, of course, they keep having those design wins more and more, I mean, yeah, could be a threat to Nvidia's market share. Doesn't mean that Nvidia will suddenly fail, saying to Nvidia's market share. So Broadcom, great quarter, great guidance, great commentary as well. So congrats to all the shareholders. Do share your thoughts down in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, do all of that, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.